Hello and welcome to Primary Teaching with Kyle. My name is Kyle and I am a primary schools teacher. In this video today we will be focusing on week 1 of the school year, week 1 of ECT 2.0 to be precise, week 1 after I've actually met the children and taught some things. So let's get started into what I did this week. Well, the first 2 days have all been staff training, which I've explained in another video, but that's all the things that I did up until the kids came in on the Wednesday morning. Now, because I'm a job share, it's a bit different for me than a normal full-time teacher, because I only work 2.5 days a week. So I only teach the children Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday morning is my ECT/PPA time. But obviously with the kids coming in on Wednesday morning, I wanted to make sure that they knew who I was, make sure that they know that it's myself and another teacher that's teaching them full time. So we did our bit of intro together, within, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so of them coming in. We kind of sat them down, had a bit of introduction, talked a bit about the class expectations, and then I left. And then my job share teacher was had all the morning with them to kind of do some fun games, but also talk about expectations, rules, things like that. And then from the afternoon, we had an afternoon assembly and then an afternoon science lesson in which I taught, and same for Thursday and Friday. So Wednesday afternoon was a bit of a weird one because we went straight into assembly, and then before we did a science lesson, I kind of went over the class rules again myself, which has obviously been really, hammered through in the morning. But I decided to kind of create a class charter together, kind of a working document, and we kind of talked through some of the rules that I'd already stuck up on the board. And then they talked about what was a good student, what's a good teacher, what makes a good classmate, etc. We kind of made that class charter together, printed it off, and then I got them to sign it, and then we did a science lesson. I wanted to do a science lesson straight away because I wanted to get them into the routine of a lesson. We're going to get onto the good and bad of the week at the end, but science lesson is not a good one. But Thursday, Friday, we had lessons. I say lessons. We did, because at the moment we are off timetable. We didn't have any scheduled lessons. We were all focusing on this book called the book was called Bloom. Really, really nice book, really good themes of kind of loneliness, of happiness, of speaking to people with kindness, and we discussed a lot of that. So it's kind of PSHE, based, but we did loads of things around it. So in my English lesson, we focused on writing a letter to somebody who might need a friend or who might need some people to cheer them up. I gave them a few, ideas and discussions. In maths lessons, we just did some things that were related to flowers, so kind of some numbers, some twinkle things that were related to flowers. And then in the afternoon, Thursday afternoon, we focused on making some flowers, some 3D flowers for a big school display we're going to have of Bloom. And then Friday afternoon, we finished those off and did a PE lesson. And then Friday morning was the same type of thing. We wrote a letter, but we wrote a letter to our future self at the end of year 3. It was a twinkle activity, but I thought it'd be, again, both English lessons, the point of them were to get them used to writing again, and also it was quite a good way for me to assess their level of handwriting, their level of spellings, their level of independence, because they are moving up from year 2 to year 3, so it's interesting to see how much they need things or don't need things, and how much support, and if we've got them in the right groups, because obviously we're just going off data from last year. So we don't know really if we're right or wrong. We might get a few people wrong. So it's really interesting to see how they do. And same with the maths. We did a baseline times tables Rockstars test. Got them to log into times tables Rockstars so to make sure that the passwords work, make sure they know how to go onto it. And all those types of things that you do in the first couple of days to get started and to kind of have a better assessment of where they are at. So we're going to finish it off with some good and bad, some ups and downs from the week. I'm going to try and list at least 2 each week, and I like finishing on a good thing, so I'm going to finish on the good and start with the bad. So the 2 big bad ones, really. The first one is on me, I think. is more about my learning outcomes and how much I wanted to get in the first science lesson. And kind of linked to our staff training, we talked about in our core subject, so kind of your science, your RE, your music, your computing, your art. If you can, Ofsted loves it, and if you can put a pre and post, like a hot and cold task at the start of the topic and at the end of the topic, so then they're able to really showcase their learning. So what we decided in the staff meeting was we were going to do 5 questions. You can choose the 5 questions. It just needs to be linked to the national curriculum or the topic that you're focusing on. And then you do the same 5 questions at the end of the topic, and hopefully they've improved. And you do a mind map as well of things they know now, and then hopefully you add to it as they go on. So I had to do those 2 things. And then we also actually did the lesson, which was a feedie bag lesson, which was kind of like an active lesson, but just didn't really get as much done, because one of the bad things was it was really interesting to see their level of kind of resilience and independence, in terms of, I wanted them to almost get things wrong, because then it shows better, doesn't it? If they're cold task at the start and they don't know the answers to the 5 questions, or they can't really write much about in their mind map about light, but when we do it in the future, they can. It shows improvement, shows progression. But a lot of them were struggling to just be able to write, not sure, or don't know the answer to that one, or I don't know what you're asking. So that took a lot longer and a lot more support than what I had anticipated. So it didn't give us as much time for the activity, actually. So that's definitely something to kind of bear in mind for my future other lessons, where I need to do pre and post or hot and cold tasks. I need to be aware that that might just be the activity for that whole lesson, to get that down, because that's so important. I've got an RE lesson next week, which I'm going to adapt a bit. And then the other bad one is, it's something that's just fresh on my brain from last year, and also something that I'm going to really hopefully kind of hone in on and really work on as an ECT this year, is the behaviour management. So overall behaviour, they are a well-behaved class. There's not really any big problems in there. Just low-level chatter, low-level disruption, kind of getting them to come back after being able to chat, kind of get to come back. At the moment, I just use a timer. I just use a 5, 4, 3. When I get down to 0, I expect everyone to be facing me. That's kind of working. I'm thinking of involving maybe a clap or something like that as well, just to really get their attention, or a bit of a phrase, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, that type of thing, just to be a bit quicker with it. Also then, that links to kind of seating plans, that links to expectations, but I'm just aware that I don't want to let things slide and make them think that they can get away with things, which I don't want them to be getting away with in the future. So that's something to keep on the back burner, that's something to keep in my mind, but obviously not full time. So that'll be interesting to see how that progresses when they've got a different teacher for 2 days, and then when I come back in on Wednesday, it'll be interesting to see their expectations and their behaviour by then. So we finish on the good. The good is the staff overall, really, really supportive for anything you need. They have been really, really supportive in any questions, or where's this, or oh, how do you find that, or oh, the printer's not working, okay, who do I contact if I can't print it, anything like that. Really, really good. Really made me feel welcome in the staff meetings, but also in the assembly, in the staff room. It's a different thing in terms of I've not joined the school, straight away in September, because I did do 6 weeks, one day a week there at the end of last term. So I do know the basics of, where the toilets and things like that are, but it's still really a new school, coming in every day. It's still a different thing. It's still daunting, starting September again, but they've just been amazing. So it's been really, really helpful, and really, really thankful to everyone from there. And then the other thing is a nice little bonus for myself is I still remembered most of the kids. We've got 30 kids in the class, and by Friday I could name you about 25 of them. And I only had a few that were getting confused, like say, oh, this person, I've named you the wrong person, or something like that. And I'm quite happy with myself for that, because then that really helps to build the relationships. Had a couple of little chats with a few of them as well, starting to kind of get their own background, starting to get to know their home life, starting to get to know what they want to be. We did little English discussion activity on what they want to do when they grow up, what things they want to get better at in year 3, and that was really interesting to see who's where and what they want to do and who, you know, who's that's a big thing as well. So yeah, that's been interesting. So yeah, this is ECT 2.0 week 1 done. I'm going to rest and recover, and I've got 2 days off now, so hopefully going to get some supply work Monday, Tuesday, and then back to the school on Wednesday. So it'll be very interesting to go back after 2 days off, which is a very weird thing to do. But yeah, let me know what your first thoughts were of your first week back, or first week in a new school, first week as a new ECT, whatever it is. Let me know your comments, and hopefully you had a good first week. See you later.